Hey guys, welcome to Talking Mods. Today we're actually not at the desk. We are outside. We're all the way in Moab, Utah. Today we're going to talk about off-roading. We're here with Falken and we're going to check out the Wild Peak 4T event. This is brand new tire. We're going to talk about it, but we're actually going to talk about off-roading as well. Guys, we're going to jump in these Jeeps. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go check it out. Okay guys, so I want to talk about off-roading in general today here for Talking Mods. So one of the things that we did is when we set up these Jeeps, we lower the tire pressure on them. Why would we do that? Tires, just like in racing, are the most important thing. It's where everything that we set up, that's our contact patch. Now the tires, when we lower the tire pressure, it deflates and we get more contact patch. So we are able to use more of that grip. So we lowered these at 20 PSI here. With the Falken, this Falken event here for the Falken tires, and that's amazing. Now, these are just on stock Jeeps. They are stock up to one point. They are on a 2-inch different spring rate, so it's a 2-inch lift from the springs, but the rest of it, the differential, all of that is from stock Jeep Rubicons that we're using today. And it is incredible, like seeing them go through these kind of terrains. This is an intermediate level. This is I believe it's called the Poison Spider trail that we're on here. So it's a really, really cool event that we're able to do. But in the off-roading sense of it, if you're getting into it and you're a novice, what do you really need is the tires, a little bit of a lift, and the rest is just be safe. You know, start off with a guide. We do have a guide here today, which is amazing because we're able to tackle some really cool stuff. And the tires make such a difference, and that's why on the other channel we're going to do the review on the tires, but there is grip that happens with these tires. It's not like your race tires and so forth, yes, but these are grip designed for rocks, designed for loose gravel, for mud, and so forth. So setting up a vehicle for this is not that difficult. Obviously, you got to understand your differentials. We put a video talking about differentials. The same concept applies. And you're going a lot slower, obviously, but you basically want your wheels to turn especially when you're climbing up. You want your front and rear differentials to lock, basically, so you can get all that power up to move slowly together, all as one unit. Similar concepts that we talked about in the differentials in racing. So not a very difficult concept to understand if you've watched the other videos, and if you want to get into off-roading, or if you're even in off-roading, you understand these concepts. But anyway, let's talk more about it. Well, guys, it's good to have you guys. Now we're back inside our office, as you guys remember, here on Talking Mods. Now, it was really cool to be on the excursion with Falken, but this is a great opportunity to talk about the off-roading, as I've kind of alluded to in the beginning of this video. And I wanted to go over the basics of going off-roading. Now, if you guys are experts, I would love for you guys to chime in, put in the comments down below, because add on to the list, because there's a lot of people who are getting into off-roading, learning about it. There's a lot of great channels out there as well on off-roading, but I think this is a great beginner's guide that I'm about to give you guys. So the first thing is I just want to go with 7 key things to remember before we talk about the modifying stuff, and because they're incredibly important. So 7 key things. The first one is don't go solo, especially if you're starting out. Don't go solo, go with a buddy, go with a friend, somebody else that can help out. Going by yourself can only lead to trouble, you know, not being able to get help and so forth. So don't go solo, the first thing. The second thing is when you're picking out your trail, if you saw on this trail that we did here with Falken over in Moab, that was an intermediate. So that was an experience trail, but go based off the experience that you have. So you can read the reviews. There's plenty of information out there thanks to World Wide Web. So you can figure it out by your own personal skill level as you move up. And when you load up your vehicle, you know, to go out, make sure you load it up evenly. So whether that means having a roof rack, whatever equipment you have or bodies in the car, try to load it up as evenly as possible. It'll give you the best type of ride that you can have. When you hit an obstacle, when you're going off-roading, if you're getting to a certain obstacle that's going to be difficult, scout it by foot. Get out of the car. It's not a big deal. A lot of guys do it. You need to see what potential problems are going to come up. We were doing that on this trail as well. There could be some crazy sharp rocks. There could be certain boulders that we're not seeing. There could be little pitfalls that you don't know. So whatever potential hazards. When you're going off-roading, generally you want to air down your tires. So that's a big one. You see that in the video that we're doing. And the other thing is why we were with Falken, but having the right tires. Having the right tires is critical. There are all types of off-roading out there. There's going to be the one that I just did here in the video is rock climbing. There is going to be in the snow. There's going to be dunes. There's going to be mudding. There are tires specific for everything. So whether you're in the sand or you're going through the mud, there are mud specific tires. So if you have the right tires, you're going to have a lot more fun. If you don't have the right tires, you're going to have a terrible time. It's not going to work out for you. So having the right tires. And that kind of leads to the number 7, having the right equipment, having your vehicle set up to go off-roading. And that's where the modding comes in. So, so let's go into it. I got you 8 different ones to go. So we're gonna have 8 different mods that you can do. The first one is gonna be tires. We just talked about it. The Falkens that we just did were incredible. They were great. And a lot of times you gotta understand you are driving to your off-road destination. So driving there, you need tires that you are capable of getting there, and then you have the tires that you're gonna be doing the off-road. Well, with the tires that we just did with the AT4W, they were awesome on the road and they were great on the off-road. So that's a simple thing. The second thing you wanna really have is a hitch, and I'm gonna say a winch. Why? Well, a hitch is to someone to pull you out. You're gonna need a hitch on your vehicle, a tow hook area, something that in case you get stuck or something happens, you need to get pulled out. So emergency type of situation. The winch is to help somebody else out. Let's go into the third. Now, in the video, you guys saw that we were inside Jeeps. It was lifted. So I'm going into the basics here. The first easiest, cheapest method that a lot of people use is what's called a leveling kit or lift spacers. Looks like a spacer. We talked about spacers on wheels on the back of a wheel, and now we have our actual shock and we actually put a spacer that goes on top of it that pushes it forward. It's the most inexpensive method. A little bit better, I think it's a better option generally, is a lift spring. So springs that will actually lift your vehicle. It's a nice thing instead of just pushing everything up. On these Jeeps, that's what we had. We had a 2-inch lift springs, and then you can go all out. And then you can get a shock strut, or known as a coilover, or known as a lift kit. So the spring, the shock, the whole component, the whole arm is going in, it's gonna get lifted and so forth. You wanna go beyond, you wanna get into the 5-6 inches, everything, the geometry changes. Sometimes you even have to weld into the frame. So that's number 3, the lift. Number 4 is your bushings and the bolts that go in there. This is one of the ones that is often forgotten by most people who modify. They go real quick and they'll put in the lift springs, and then that's all you really need. And truthfully, that's all you'll really need. But if the vehicle is getting older and so forth, and you've now created more stress, you want to create, you want to have bushings that have a high tensile strength. So you want a better type of bushings. The next part is you also want to have corrosion-proof bolts. If you're going into the water, you're going to be in the snow, you're going into certain areas, these bolts can snap pretty easily. Now, you guys might have seen, I don't know if anybody follows the Cybertruck, but I know the Cybertruck was out there and they were doing off-road and they went for a good couple days. It did amazing, but what broke on it was the bolts. Bushings, bolts, one of the most forgotten pieces, all right? 5. This is a mod that's actually really popular in race cars right now. A lot of guys are buying them because they realize the benefit. But in the off-road world, everyone already knows this, skid plates. Well, it protects against damage. That it's more like an armor for the car, right? Especially underneath. So especially when you're going over boulders, rocks, and so forth, what is it protecting? The radiator. You're protecting the engine pan, the drivetrain. These are all potential hazards. So could potentially be major hazard if you hit a rock hard enough. You know, all the fluids could come apart, the differential could get messed up. Number 6, it's called a bull bar. You sometimes see some of these off-road vehicles that have a bar in the front. It's not a must-have, but it's a nice to have, especially when you're going through things, branches and stuff to protect your car. So that's what's gonna break through. So just like a bull breaking through, that's what's gonna happen there. Number 7, this one is important. Get a quality air compressor that's portable. A quality one. Do not go and cheap out and get something that's just because it's lightweight and so forth. Get something that you know is gonna hold up. You will need to air up your car at the end. That is important like crazy. Number 8, this is kind of more like the fun, but have supplies. Have the supplies that you need. The obvious ones. Food, water. You're gonna be out on the trail, you're gonna be out all day. Make sure you have like extras just in case of any emergencies. Have a first aid kit. And the most important thing is have fun. Bring the food that you wanna have fun with and enjoy. You're going out to some really epic places where you can really enjoy on an amazing view. And if you guys remember, I always like to give you guys a real big bonus. When you are done with this whole off-road thing, you will need an alignment. Your alignment will get messed up. Everyone seems to forget this. They want to drive back and then their tires are going to get destroyed. You want to save those tires, whether it's a Falken tire or whatever brand, you want to get an alignment after. So hit up your local guys. You want to get these parts, you need someone to do so, hit us up at Mod Bargains. Guys, I look forward to your questions, any comments that you have. And guys, I will see you on the next one. Thanks again.